Hi, this is Saif here. I'm back with one more scenario. So, in interviews, the questions are asked about separating duplicate and non-duplicate records. So, it can have two versions. So, I'll demonstrate you both the versions. The first one, what it says is at least one occurrence of duplicate record should go to one table. So, what it means is, so this is my source table and these are my two target tables. So if you'll see, I have two occurrences of 10 which is coming from my source. So one occurrence is going to my non-duplicate table and one is occurrence is going to my duplicate table. Same way if you see I have 120th record, second and third, 320 records which are coming from my source. So one occurrence is going to non-duplicate records and two occurrence is going to duplicate records. So this is what we would be demonstrating in the first set, and in the second set we'll see. So I've imported my source and target structures, and these are my two target tables which don't have any data. This is the data which is from my source. Now what I'll do is I'll use a transformation called sorter. I would be sorting the data on ID column. So double click over here, the data is being sorted. Now, what I'll do is I'll use a transformation called expression and I'll write some conditions. Okay, so let's bring in these columns over here and let's copy this port and let's paste this port. Now, this is a variable of ID column and this will hold ID values. I'll add one more column and let's say here I'm generating a sequence kind of thing. So it should be data type of table. I'll write a small if condition. So if my variable id equals to id, so when this is true, what I need to do is I need to increment the sequence. Else what I need to do is I need to start from 1. Cool. So what will happen is for the first record this condition will not be true, so I'll get 1. For the second record, if this getting 2, so it will have one store over here, 1 plus 1, 2. So this is how it will move on. Now what I'll do is I'll copy this port and paste this. This would be an output port. And let's paste that sequence over here. Now I need to split the data. I would be using a router transformation and splitting the data to duplicate and non-duplicate records. Bring in all the columns. Now here I will be creating two groups. So for duplicate, I will have this O sequence greater than 1. And for non-duplicate, I will have this sequence equal to 1. Let's say OK. So this is first set and this is second set. Let's save this mapping. Mapping is valid. With the mapping name, let's come to a workflow. Let's create a new workflow. And I'll create a task that is a session. Now, which is that scenario? Loading unique. Okay, so this is duplicate non-duplicate one over here. Let's link this. Let's go to the mapping tab. Sources from staging schema. So this is the star schema. Change bulk to normal, no update, no delete, and truncate. Same follows for this. No update, no delete, and truncate the data. Let's save this and let's execute the workflow. So the workflow is getting executed and successfully executed pretty quick. So let's pull this bar over here. So if you'll see, 9 records have been read from my source, 3 records have gone to one table, and 6 records have gone to second table. Let's see the data. So let's come to my first table. So here you will see all my duplicate occurrence. And in the second table, I'll have only the unique occurrence. So this is what the first scenario which we wanted to achieve out of my duplicate records and non-duplicate. So one set of is going to unique table and the second set of is going to my duplicate. So that's what we have done. Now what we'll try to do is we'll try to see the second patch of this second scenario of this. So this is the data. So I don't have unique occurrence. So what I'll do is I'll give 40D and 50E. So what should happen is even this 10 should go over here, so even this 20 should go over here, and even this 30 should go over here. So these are my duplicate records which are coming from my source. Okay, so delete this, even I would delete this. Now here I should have 40 and here I should have D and here I should have 50 and here should I have E. So this is the second part. So none of the duplicate records from source should go to unique table. So this is my unique table. So I'll have the unique occurrences over here and all the duplicate occurrences in my second table. Let's try to see this. So for that I'll have to insert two records over here. So let's write a small insert query. I have ID as 40 and name as D. Let's execute this and let's come to 50 and this is E. Let's execute this as well. Okay, so let's hit a commit clause. Now if you run this query, I have this set of data. Let's try to prepare another mapping. So what I can do is I'll just copy this mapping, copy as, and I will just name it as 2. So there would be a new set which is ready and I will need a sorter. So I'll just remove this and this. Okay, so this is done. Okay, so now what I'll do is even sorter is not needed because anyhow I would be joining this. So let's delete this as well. Let's see if any problem occurs. We'll try to solve it at a later stage. So I'll use an expression transformation which would be a pass through from here. So I'll bring in both records and what I'll do is I'll use a transformation called aggregator and I will count the ID column and I'll do a group by on that. So for every group, what is the count? So I'll bring this ID column over here. So let's do a double click on this, copy this port and let's paste this. So let's say O underscore count of ID and this will be an output port and this would be a count function and we would be doing on ID column and let's do a group by for every group what is the count of 10 20s 30s and 40s. So these are two sources, so I need to join them, join a transformation and it would be a normal join and I would be doing on that an ID column. Now bring in all the data bring in these two ports, I'm sorry. Now, as the data is getting split from one stream into two stream, active and passive, so at that time, the data is not linked. We need to check mark on sorted input property. Yes, we'll provide the condition after linking. So now it is getting linked. Let's go over here and let's assign a condition. So condition is ID and it is a normal join, master detail, that is good. Okay, so this is done. So I have joined the data. Now what I'll do is I'll use a transformation called router, same. So I would be splitting the data. Okay, so bring in all the ports. Let's create one port over here. So that would be non-duplicate. So let's go over here, and so whenever my count of ID is equals to 1, it means those are non-duplicate records. And even if you want to send, and the rest will fall in my default groups, or what you can do is the same way like we have written, same way you can write over here as well. Duplicate, so it would be greater than 1. Just say okay, looks good. So let's connect the ports. Now this is the first one, ID and name, and this is the second one, ID and name. So let's save this mapping. Mapping is valid. Copy the mapping name. What I'll do is I'll create a task that is a session, and I'll associate the second mapping. Double click on this task, go to your mapping tab. Source is your staging schema, target is your star, change bulk to normal, no update, no delete, and truncate. Same follows over here. Everything is set. Let's save this and let's execute this task only. This is getting executed. Oh, this has failed. So if you'll see the error, so it is telling me, so normal join ID input is not sorted. So it is telling that the data is not sorted. So I need to sort the data before passing the joiner transformation. So what I'll do is I'll break this, or even what I can do is I can add the sorter. Let's go over here, use the properties tab, and let's generate an SQL, and let's order by over here, order by my ID column. Let's say okay, save this mapping. So the mapping is valid. Let's come over here, we have made the changes. Let's refresh and absorb this, and let's re-execute and let's see what happens. So this time it has successfully executed. So there were 11 records. So 2 records have gone to one table and the 9 records have gone to second table. So this was the data which was coming from my source. So this is the first table where I'll have my non-duplicate occurrence, that is unique occurrence from my source. And this is the second table where wherein I will have all my duplicate occurrence which is coming from my source. So that is what the second scenario which we wanted to achieve. So we have seen both the versions of this. So if any version of this asked in interviews, please answer them appropriately. So this is Seth signing off from this tutorial. I hope you would have understood these scenarios separating duplicate and non-duplicate, two versions of the same scenario. And if you have any questions or emails, feel free to drop an email on smitsitechnologies@gmail.com. And if you have any requirement for a training on online and classroom trainings, do drop an email on the same email ID. And also, if you like my videos, please subscribe to my videos and like those videos and share with your friends. So, this is Saif signing off from this tutorial. I'll come up with another interview scenario soon. For that, till that time, have a great time and be safe and have fun. Bye.